So I've been to many tablets. I started off with the first iPad and I worked my way up to the iPad 2, and then I jumped off that bandwagon and I got on the Android tablets. But after all these years of fooling around with different Android tablets, I'm finding myself gravitating back to the iPad. So stay tuned and I'm gonna tell you the reason why. So I traded my iPad 1 for the iPad 2, and I've been rocking this for years. As a matter of fact, this is still the same iPad 2 that I purchased. After this one, I jumped on the Android bandwagon, so I started buying Android tablets. And I've been to different brands and different sizes. It's like I was searching for that iPad replacement, but for some reason, I can't find any Android tablets that can replace the iPad. Now, I personally don't think it's the tablet manufacturer. I think it's the software that's running on it. Now, Apple has perfected iOS over the years, and they've made some changes to it. Some things I didn't like, because I still do software updates to the latest that this thing can handle. So I've experienced some of the changes that Apple has done to the iOS. And now they finally decided to separate iOS, which was made originally for the phone, and the tablet as its own OS called iPad OS. So they're trying to make some distinction there, which looks great. On the Android side now, it's kind of not the same way. I mean, we're running the same software that's made for the phone on the tablets. And then you run into a situation where certain apps are displayed in the store, but when you try to download it, it says it's not compatible with this device. Apple, on the other hand, has tried to weed out the difference between those two apps that's made for the iPhone and the stuff that's made for the iPad. So not too often, at least never for me, I ran into apps that says it's not compatible with the iPad. If it's not designed for the iPad, it's not going to show up in the store where you can actually try to download it on the iPad. So the Android world, when it comes to tablet, is a whole lot different ballgame. Then on the Android side, you got certain manufacturers that modify the Android OS, like Amazon Tablet that runs Fire OS, which, like I said, is a modified version of Android. And on top of that, they created their own store, so you cannot access the Google store unless you do some tweaking modification to this tablet. So with the Android world being a little bit more loose and open and free for other manufacturers and developers to do that modification, it tends to create this issue, because when I bought the Fire TV tablet, I was looking to access the Google Play Store and download the same app or something similar that I have on my Android phone. So that's not possible. So now I tried to look for another tablet that can access the Google Play Store, which led me to try the tablets that's offered by Samsung, the Galaxy Tabs. Because for years, Samsung has been kind of like mimicking what Apple do as far as the design of their icons and stuff like that. So I thought it would be an easy comparison to get that tablet that would be closely matched to the iPad. But that wasn't the case either. To me, the tablet was kind of slow and it took a while to do stuff. It's just, I had to return it. But let me go back and finish up about the Amazon tablet. Now, when I got that, I'm like, it's low cost. I don't think it's gonna give me a lot of performance, but I think it should get the job as far as day-to-day stuff. But with that modification that Amazon did to it, and to lower the price as far as getting it out the door, they loaded up with a bunch of ad running stuff, which made the tablet kind of slow, and also for me, drained the battery on a constant basis. Now, the last Android tablet that I purchased was made by Huawei. Now, I gave that one a shot. The performance on it was a little bit better than the other two. So I purchased that one because I was working on a project in my HRV and I needed a light but thin tablet. It's doing exactly what I really wanted it to do. So I can't say I have a lot of complaint out of that one because, like I said, it was purchased for one purpose. Now, the main reason why I'm going back to the iPad is because of my content creation. The iPad seems to have perfected that part of the industry. Now, the Android does have app that you can use for content creation, but the kind of music and stuff that I create, those apps are not available on the Android. And one of my #1 apps that I keep waiting and wishing that it would end up on the Android tablet is iMaschine by Native Instrument. So that's one of the apps that I can only find on the iPad. And that's because the developers of that app, I guess, just gonna stick with the iPad and they're not gonna worry about making one for the Android. And there's other apps too that I do as far as doing contents and playing music and creating music and different stuff like that that I just cannot do on the Android tablet. And that's because the Android world hasn't made it as easy as Apple has made it. So right now I'm shopping for a new iPad. I know they got the new iPad out, they got iPad Air, and they got the iPad Pro. I'm weighing more towards the iPad Pro right now, but I could step down to the next level down. But one thing for sure, I am definitely going back to the iPad because that's going to get what I need to do done. So unless Google decide to create an OS especially for their tablet, just like Apple did with the iPad OS, so that means I'll probably be sticking with Apple until that time. But then again, I don't even know if I'm going to even go back to the Android tablets, because if those apps that's only developed for the Apple that I like and it was never going to be ported over to the Android, well, it doesn't make sense going back to the Android tablet. But it was fun while it lasted. It was good to at least try a different operating system from a different company to see what it's like. So that I don't regret. The only thing I regret is purchasing this thing right here. But it's all good. It will be a nice gift for somebody else in my family. Okay, so thanks for watching. If you have any suggestion about which tablet you think I should get as far as the iPad, which level, then leave it in the comment. I will take any suggestion you want to give me. I want to thank you for taking the time for watching this video. Have a good one, and I'll see you next time.